All right, let's get on to segment 2. We're calling this one Free Fallin', and I'm not going to sing, Cedric. I might have warmed up my vocal cords.
Give me some of that Tom Petty. Give me some of that Tom Petty.
I don't want to diss Tom that way.
Free Fallin', come on.
See, there you go. But free agency right now, Cedric, last I looked, we were in the midst of TV helicopters following cars and planes that they thought were carrying Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. This whole thing has gone crazy. We obviously saw the big moves that were made over the weekend with Durant, with Kyrie going to the Nets. But Kawhi's still up in the air. Are you reading any tea leaves on all of this of what does all this mean for where Kawhi Leonard's going to land? Does it mean anything at this point?
Does anyone have anything better to do? You've got Checkpoint Charlie, helicopters. It's like a bad John Wick movie with the black SUVs, like 6 of them, trying to look inconspicuous. But you go, wait a minute, there's 6 black SUVs with tinted windows, and they're following Kawhi Leonard or whatever. Here's my thing on that. No one knows what Kawhi Leonard is thinking but Kawhi Leonard. The fact that he hasn't announced that he's coming back to Toronto, if I'm a Raptors fan, I'd be a little bit worried about that because that means he's weighing his options. And from what I've read, Jen, the Raptors are the last team that he's scheduled to meet with. And he reportedly asked to meet with Magic Johnson to talk about the Lakers, but the league said, no, you can't do that. I don't know why. Magic doesn't work for them. So I'm a believer that he's probably going to end up, if he's smart, he'll just do one more year in Toronto, see if he can get a repeat. And then when KD is back in the 2021 season, then you join him in either Brooklyn or or if you want to leave right now, you can join LeBron James and the Unibrow in LA, which would make them a prohibitive favorite to win an NBA championship. I don't know if you've ever had 3 top 5 players on the same team. You've had 2 because I consider Steph Curry top 5. And we know Durant's top 5, so you've had that before. But I don't know if you've ever had 3 of the 5 best players in the same starting lineup. If that happens, the Lakers may win 75 games next year.
My only question about the timing with Kawhi as it relates to the Lakers, they've obviously, with those 2 big contracts already on the books, and now wanting to leave room for a third if Kawhi wants to go there, all of these free agents that might be mid-level guys or vet minimum type guys, they're all signing elsewhere. I mean, they can't wait around forever. The way free agency has gone, it's an immediate thing. You got to jump at those chances and land where you think is best. And so it's not just that there aren't a lot of good free agents out there that the Lakers could plug in with 3 potential great players. There just are. It's a reduced number of any free agents that are out there. So that to me is really interesting and perplexing about this decision that Kawhi has. If you're going there, sure. I mean, you're joining forces with 2 great players, but they got to have some other bodies out there. So at some point, I would think if you're the Lakers, you start to get a little bit worried. And even if you're Kawhi and thinking you might go there, isn't there an immediacy that he needs to get there? Obviously, he's going on his own terms. He's showing, just his place in the NBA, which frankly, may be the top right now. If he's able to take this long and the Lakers are willing to wait, I think it says that, he is now in that upper stratosphere, if not at the top at this point, which, I don't know what he's going to do either. I don't know if anybody does. I think you're right, Cedric. I think only he knows. But thus far, this has been obviously a fascinating look at where the NBA is headed. The Nets, not much of a player a week ago. Now, when Durant gets healthy, look like a team that will contend in the East. Who else do you see as winners in the free agency market, losers in the free agency market? What's top of your mind as we start to calibrate all of this after now 3-4 days of free agency?
Well, you mentioned Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are going to eventually hook up with the Nets when KD gets back healthy. You have to list them as a winner. The one that a lot of people aren't talking about, Jen, the Boston Celtics. They had an internal problem, some locker room issues, some chemistry issues with Kyrie Irving. Not the first time we've heard that about Kyrie, but they turn around and they get Kemba Walker on a 4-year deal. Kemba Walker, 26 points a game and shot 50% from the field, did not miss a game last year.
Wow.
We know that Clint Kemba Walker's box office from what he did at UConn, and he's been a all-star 3 times. The Celtics quietly got him. I think they're in the mood. Maybe Enes Kanter, I think they may get. I'm not sure.
Yep,
I think they got him as
they
well.
Did. Yep.
And because they lost Al Horford to the Knicks, I believe. So they've kind of figured some things out.
Yeah.
And I think Kemba Walker running that offense with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
They're going to be good. So the Knicks were another big loser in all of this. They didn't get the big name players. They didn't get KD. They didn't get Kyrie. They're not going to get Kawhi. So, and the one more thing on Kawhi before we move on, Jen. I grew up in the church, and they always talked about, you got to pray, and God will answer prayers, and blah, blah, blah. My uncle was a pastor, and he always said this about God. He may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. Kawhi Leonard could show up one day before the opening game of the next season to the Lakers, and he'll be right on time. They'll take it. They'll take it whenever he's ready.
That's true. They are willing to wait on Kawhi if he's willing to go there. I will say that it's going to be interesting in the West. I mean, obviously the Lakers still do they have 2 All-Stars? Do they have 3? That's still up in the air. But you saw a lot of teams get better in free agency. I mean, everybody knows in the East that the Sixers look really good. You mentioned Boston, Cedric, but a team like the Jazz, they may well be the top in the West right now with the acquisitions that they made. The Nuggets still look really good. You look around the league at the playoff teams last year in the West, and you could say all 8 really still look like they are playoff type teams. But then you start to look at who didn't make the playoffs, and pretty much everybody in the West got better. I'm not saying there's not going to be a bottom feeder in the West. Somebody will be at the bottom, probably the Suns, but they got a point guard finally. They got Ricky Rubio. So I think that it's interesting to see the upgrades that almost every team in the West has made, and there may be more to come. So really going to be interesting in the West. A conference that's continued to be really difficult. Did it get even more difficult in free agency? I think it did, even though the Warriors are not the big lead dog that they have been here for these last few years.